Oh, I love it. It's so beautiful here. So I decided to keep these shades on because, ooh, these shades are cool. I got these shits at Dollar Tree. I got some good shades. So I want to talk about these non-human entities and how they operate. So to change bodies, what they do is they go down these deep underground military base, just like I had mentioned. They go there, throw the white horse in the platform, this little mini white horse. They're in this jelly stuff. It's in a lab, and then what they do, throw it into a platform, they jump in with it, and then boom, their whole body changes form, completely changes form. So, then another way, what they do, and they can do this, they can change these forms several times, but what the brown reptile pretty much explained to me is they have to kill themselves first, and then they can go ahead and get into like a different body. It's really weird. Here's a weird thing, okay? So the brown reptile told me that I caused him to kill himself several times and to age himself, that it aged him. So he was very pissed off about that. He said that I aged him because I caused him to kill himself several times, because he said that when he came down into form, into like forms of like my friends or whatever and stuff like that, and then when I cut them off, I guess that caused like him to kill himself. So basically, pretty much what the brown reptilian explained to me was that throughout my whole life, many of the people, like my friends and my family, like he explained to me that he was hosting their body, like basically, I talked to him about like basically my mom being so abusive and like all that stuff, right? And then he was saying, yeah, I was your mother and I was your dad. And he was like, basically he was really explaining that he was my mother. And I'm just like, I was thinking at the time, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't understand what he was explaining, but now watching, other videos and kind of understanding more of this stuff now I understand that he was hosting my mom's body. So ever since that abduction in Nevada, when my whole family and me were taken, that's when my mom and dad began to be hosted by these entities to attack me because I was seen as evil because of my bloodline and my past life and the fact that I slayed a bunch of reptilians in a past life, I guess. So, know that these entities host bodies, and yeah, they take complete control. So basically he was telling me he was my mother and all this, but then he said my mother was going to face judgment or something like that. So I was like, but the reptilian, the thing about it is he contradicts himself a lot. I don't know, much of his, they're deceivers. So a lot of the shit they're saying is kind of like, I don't know, but I mean, some of the stuff seemed to have truth, but it's kind of like, I don't know, but it's just kind of like, now I'm kind of understanding this stuff more. And, yeah, it is some scary stuff. And, you know what? I've heard some stuff about this pedophile stuff, and, my father molested me as a child. It was about, I'm going to say, 1994. That was shortly, I think, after that Nevada abduction, when they turned my parents on me to go against me. So I ended up being molested by my father. He ended up, he was watching me and my brother. He was, kind of just didn't have a job, so my mom was working all day. So we were left home with my dad to babysit us, and my dad would just sit on the couch drinking beer, watching whatever on TV, sports or whatever the fuck, and then yelling and getting drunk and shit. And then he just ended up one day picking me up. He took me to the fridge, shoved some beer down my throat, and my family would drink. They would drink a lot, so I was like, I was a kid, I would always want to sip a beer, and I kind of thought, oh well, my dad's letting me have a sip, but he's like, I'll have more. And then it got me drunk, and then he goes and takes me in the bedroom and fucking molests me. And during this molestation, I was put into a dissociative state, and after that I permanently had a dissociative disorder for a while. I want to say, because I had to look that up to see what was going on, because a lot of times I was going in and out of disassociation. So I had to realize that later in life that was what I was dealing with. And I ended up having borderline personality type symptoms. I ended up being obese. I had severe mood swings. I had this eating. Yeah, I had compulsive eating. So that's how I got obese and all this kind of stuff. So I had all these serious issues, but it was all part of this whole freaking program, man. This whole program is designed to torture kids. If you notice, think about it. When you were a kid, think about how badly you were treated. Being a kid is the scariest fucking time of your life. You got treated like fucking shit by everybody, and you're small. So it's you have all these adults that are ready to, fuck you up and all that. There's a lot of sick ass fucking adults out there, man. It's out there. It's sick. So, basically 1994, right? So I'm gonna talk about the 90s. So all that went down, so I ended up getting molested, and that put me in a dissociative state. During that time, Bill Clinton was in office. Shortly after that, 96, I don't know what happened, but we had an earthquake, and then really bad, that, what was it called, freaking Northridge. Yeah, we had Northridge. And all this shit was going on. Yeah, it was like the whole thing with that, like Monica Lewinsky was going on with the scandal. And then my parents ended up separating like shortly after that time or something. So I don't know. I think there was something kind of weird about that earthquake. There was something strange or that like significant. It was kind of weird, I feel like. I don't know. So I have heard about Bill Clinton being a pedophile. And I've heard about that. I've heard some stuff about that I've just seen kind of on websites and stuff like that, but I don't really know. But what I do know is that as a child, I have these memories, and I do remember being in the bedroom as a child, and the grays always coming. They would come at night. They'd mess with my nose, stick things in my nose. I'd be waking up with nosebleed all the time. And then I remembered after that, just being abducted like all the time. And I remember Bill Clinton one day coming into my room. So he came into my room, and then I remember screaming. It was weird because I knew it was him because I knew I was a child, and I saw TV, and I saw what he looked like. You know, I knew, oh, that's him, right? So I saw as a child, I saw the TV. So I was like, oh, that's him. But he was in a, like, kind of sort of in like a reptilian form, and it was nighttime, and all I could see was like the light on his face, and I could see, like, he was on top of me and put his hand over my mouth, and the next thing I know, I was being raped. As a 6-year-old, this stuff is really traumatic to talk about, so I kind of had to kind of take a breather here first, because, yeah, this is traumatic stuff. And, yeah, so that happened to me, and the thing is that I didn't feel anything, but I know that 6 years old, that my stomach was getting bigger, and I was in school, and I remember this one boy, I won't forget this day, this boy named Bobby, he called me fat, and I remember being so sensitive as a child. I remember just crying. Oh my gosh, I was so sad. Like, he came and started bullying me during lunch, calling me fat, calling me these names, and I couldn't believe it because I didn't think I was fat because I was skinny, but I just had this like stomach that was growing, and I kind of like it was so weird. So it was like, now I realize why. I realized why that was like that. And you know, the thing is that this whole like political system, all this stuff in Hollywood, everything you see on TV, all these people are pedophiles. They're all pedophiles. And yeah. And also seeing as an adult that I was in these abductions, and I met Hillary and I met Trump, I that memory, it is so interesting that I got all these memories back, that this all happened to me as a child, you know. And then with my father molesting me, yeah, that permanently traumatized me. But I know that that was all a satanic type of ritual. I realized that my family has been involved in Satanism and some kind of something. I know that with my father, there was a lot of molestation in his family and his side of the family. And then on my mom's side, there's a lot of physical abuse, malignant narcissism. My grandmother has severe mental illness due to the abuse that she went through from her mother. And, you know, it basically, that's kind of a little bit of the story with that. And yeah, so I kind of basically I'm really looking at this MK Ultra and these different kind of programs that are done, and they start from certain bloodlines. Now, looking on Orion Mind Project, they have so much information on this kind of stuff, a lot of information. So I'm going to tell you, if you've been sexually abused as a child, you also most likely probably been put in this gang stalking problem as well, because part of it is to keep you silenced, to keep the truth away as well, and for being a whistleblower if you ever talk about it. Because all this gang stalking, I'm gonna be honest, that when I had told John that my father molested me, that was the last time we saw each other, and then that's when the gang stalking started. So I think he also is involved with that as well. Something about that, I guess, maybe, I don't know if it triggered him or something like that, because I kind of just thought, you know, we were further as friends, so I thought I could open up about that. But I guess that was a little bit like too much or something like that. So I just want to talk about this body hosting, about a little bit about this like program that I know I've been put in this program. And yeah, since the age of 6, I remember them taking eggs from me as well. So part of a lot of the satanic cults and stuff is connected with a lot of this extraterrestrial stuff, that there's all a connection to like everything here. I had to learn. And yeah, so it took a lot for me to share a little bit of the story, because You know, it's painful to remember, you know, this kind of stuff that happens, but, you know, this stuff needs to be exposed. You know, pedophilia needs to stop and it needs to end. You know, it needs to stop, and people need to be rightfully prosecuted for molesting children, because it's not right. Molesting a child damages a child permanently. Because I became obese. I did so much damage to my body. I have sagging skin on my arms because from being obese and stuff. I have, you know, like I look like a, you know, and then on top of having the babies, I have like all these stretch marks, like all this kind of stuff. So it's really hard. So I want to say, you know, that speaking up about this, I don't care if it caused me to be gang stalked or somebody killed. I don't give a shit, because it has to stop. This evil has to end. So I just want to share this story, and I hope that this can help somebody else out there. And thank you guys all so much for watching. Thank you guys all for your amazing comments and everything. I really appreciate it. I also appreciate when you guys share your stories with me. I love it. Thank you so much, and have a good day.